AI is going to speed all of us up and brand will kind of slow down in the best way. Like, I know AI is not there yet for like logo generation or subtle animations. And so I feel like us as humans, we have to create that emotional resonance, knowing that delight isn't necessarily the same thing as efficiency. And so,
Yes. Well said. That's our zone. Hey everyone, this is Bill Kenney, CEO and co-founder of Focus Lab, a global B2B brand agency. I'm back with the final episode of this three-part series where Lee Eisenbarth and I sit down and talk about brand and product, the overlap or lack of between the two. We are discussing a world where brand and product are often two separate entities. Product is built, brand is then bolted on, or brand is built and product is kind of stuffed into that. They should be one. So we argued that for 2 whole episodes. In this episode now, we project into the future, though. So what is coming in this world of branded product? What happens when Lee's child, who's 5 months old, gets older and starts to use apps like my son uses, TikTok, Snapchat, and they get used to the interactions and the branded interactions within these applications? And then they go out in a B2B world and they use software like HubSpot and Salesforce, right? Where you feel the gap. It just feels like a clunky tool. It doesn't feel like a branded tool. Branded is more than just colors, right? It's how it works. It's how it feels. So we talk about micro interactions. We also, of course, get into AI. How will AI shift this world of brand and products coming together? We get on a little bit of a soapbox. Yeah, maybe we're being protective of our creative industry. It was a very valuable conversation, and I'm excited to share it with you all now. All right, sir, we're back again. Episode 3 is a Friday. We're talking brand and product and how those two worlds come together. We've talked about, in first episode, we talked about the gap that exists where some people, let's call it founders, software builders, don't understand that brand and product are a single unit. It's not one and the other. Episode 2, we attempted to pretend like that founder is in the room with us, and we're talking about the ways that they could literally add branded moments to product and start to bring these two worlds together. We talked about a lot of product examples too, the Duolingos of the world and Notion, and more than I can remember. Today, we're going to try to project forward now. Yeah. We're going to dream a little bit. We're going to think future forward of like, where is the world going in this regard? Because I think, and I believe you think, it's moving there fast, not just because AI, but AI is going to be a part of the conversation today. But it's moving there fast because the key components and interactions that people use today, my in-laws currently in my house right now, 70 years old, both iPhone users. Yeah. Apple is setting an example of brand and user experience and product that they now think is normal. They expect everything to operate that way. Yeah. And it often doesn't, especially new tech. So we're going to try to close that gap a little bit too and try to forecast maybe how companies are going to continue to close that gap so everything can feel Apple-esque. Go Apple.
I love it. Go Apple.
So let's get into it. Users now expect these like grade A experiences from their product. Yeah. Brand plays a critical role in that. It's not just, oh, that button is smooth and operates well. Yeah. That's actually like a branded decision.
Absolutely.
How else, or I guess maybe I would say like, how do you think companies are going to continue to try to put those two worlds together?
I think going back to your point about your in-laws being in your house, Godspeed to you.
They don't live here, to be clear. They're just here right now, and I love them.
I love my in-laws too. So it's not just like 70-year-olds that are expecting this. Like, we have the 2 largest generations that are becoming more and more tech savvy. And so you've got geriatric millennials like myself. You've got a lot of Gen Z folks who are on TikTok every single day.
Great point.
So like, if they're using that app and it's super slick and beautiful, and then you go to something else, like you're right, the bar has already been set. And while B2B users used to tolerate really clunky beige things, like today, like it's a higher bar, and it needs to feel like a Spotify or onboard like Duolingo.
Thank you for saying that, because where I thought you were going to go with it, and you were, and I'll just take it a little bit further, is even all the way down to our children. So my son is 15, but you've got a 5-month-old, is that right?
Yes.
So at some point you're going to start to loosen up on the like less screen time, no devices.
Yeah.
But devices are going to be in their hands earlier and earlier, right? So now we talked about the one side of the spectrum is all the way to the elderly.
Sure.
Now you've got like the youngest, newest, freshest generation coming in, seeing the newest, freshest apps, experiences. I think about Snapchat for my son.
Oh, yeah.
The funky interactions and the usability of that app. Like, I suspect there are things in there that I wouldn't know how to get to or how to do, but he does. He's been in the app long enough.
Yep.
Those start to become expected behaviors. So what happens when he gets into the workforce and starts to use a tool like, oh boy, should I say it, HubSpot, right? Or a Salesforce, right? And he's like, man, this feels robotic, old school, clunky.
Yeah.
Those companies are going to have to kind of meet the customer where they are in software usability expectations.
Yeah, 100%. I think like B2B isn't the exception to good design anymore. Like it's just, it's late to the party.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, whether you're 70 or 5 months old or 5 years old, you are still a consumer. And if you are working a normal job, maybe Monday morning, you're logging into procurement software, but that same night you're scrolling TikTok. And if the bar doesn't reset between those use cases, it's not a good thing. And so because people expect immediacy, clarity, delight, even from really complex tools like HubSpot and Salesforce. Like, if you don't meet that standard of these consumer grade apps, like someone else will.
Yeah. Do you think this new generation, with it being so normal, and I would even bucket us into that, I know we're on the elder side of it, but like, it's so normal that they become now the builders of the future. So we will start to see it more because they're not going to operate a different way.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think this next generation like has so many tools at their disposal, but like what will change the outcomes of whatever it is they're producing are things like brand and experience. I think that's where it takes that like technical depth of an application and it actually turns it into something that humans can consume, and humans will always need to be within that feedback loop. But yeah, I think this next generation, just like ours, had the opportunity to see Google come to fruition, the personal computer come to fruition. It leveled the playing field, and in many ways AI is doing a similar disruption where they're coming online. Everyone has access to everything. Any piece of knowledge you need, if you want to learn how to do anything in the world, you can do it. And so we've got to find a way to use those tools to be an accelerator. And I think this next generation is going to do it well.
I can't help but think about, and I only thought about this in the moment, I don't know this is the exact right context, but talk about a user experience and a usability shift when Apple again came along and said, well, we don't need buttons on a phone to be able to press to achieve the same thing. We can just have a flat screen. It can be a touchable surface, right? That's a branded experience at that point. It's not just saying, well, it's just a tool. I don't care how I get to the outcome I want, which is a call. I just get to the call. It's like, no, like they thought about the entire experience to the call and said, actually, we want more real estate on the screen because that's more important. And now that's just literally the norm. A button on a phone would be super weird.
Yeah. I read a book a while back. I wish I remembered the title, but it was about this guy who interned at Apple, and Johnny Ive came in and spoke to this team. And he was talking about the granular level of detail Apple went to create that very first iPhone box.
Yeah.
And I forget if it was like 7 seconds or 12 seconds, but if you still have one in your closet, I know some people who are listening have
Upstairs. I got it.
hordes of Apple boxes and are afraid to throw them away. But that's by design. It's too beautiful to put in the recycling bin.
Yep.
But anyways, back to the lid. If you put the lid on top of the box, you should go check this after the episode. But it should take, let's call it 7 seconds to slowly slide down and create this fit. And so, like, not only the product inside, the iPhone itself, with its skeuomorphic design that felt real, and was that like translation of, hey, things are changing. We're going to give you a little bit, with making this notebook actually look like a leather-bound notebook and have some texture to it.
Yep.
To the packaging itself, like all of it is brand, and it's how it makes sense before it makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know. I could harp on Apple all day, but I feel like those early days, their approach to disruption really changed things, and in many ways, it's going to continue to have ripple effects. Johnny Ive joining OpenAI's crew.
Yeah, there you go.
And
they're saying for the first tangible, like actual, like AI hardware that might come out now in a beautifully experienced way. Like we haven't seen that yet, right? We're seeing LLMs and AI tools everywhere now. But what happens when it starts to like make it into your life, like a phone or headphones or glasses? I don't know. We'll know in a couple of years, I bet.
I think like we're in the new frontier.
Yeah.
And we don't know what we don't know. Like there have been so many advancements, even with ChatGPT over the last year. New models being rolled out, competitors popping up and causing XAI to make their models stronger, better, faster.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be a weird next couple of years, just in general. But specifically for creatives, there's going to be so many new tools, and creatives, the humans that have the learner's mindset, are going to be the ones who prevail.
Yes. Hallelujah. So let's go there.
Yeah.
The human advantage in an AI-assisted world. As AI accelerates design and development, brand will be one of the few remaining differentiators rooted in emotion and meaning. Yeah. So as AI speeds everything up, where does the human creativity and brand still kind of like find a home, and where is it still delivering value?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
I love it. I feel like in a world of AI, your humanity is your moat, and all of these AI tools will need a talented human on the other side to tell it what to do, and even to program these devices, these things we don't even know about yet. Right now, though, AI is going to speed all of us up, and brand will kind of slow down in the best way. Like there are certain things you have to follow a certain process. Like I know AI is not there yet for like logo generation or even creating like subtle animations, but like you still need a human to do that, to do the 50 sketches, to present the material to the client. And so I feel like us as humans, like we have to create that emotional resonance, and knowing that delight isn't necessarily the same thing as efficiency. And so
yes,
AI can replicate tone. We've talked about it, but like it can't invent one that resonates at a soul level. It'll spin up 17 product concepts overnight, but it won't know why it matters or the why behind everything.
Yep. Well said. That's our zone to keep and to own, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
I was asked yesterday, I was doing a presentation to a group of creatives later in their career, like they're starting to build their agency, right? In that stage. And their question was AI, right? Like, do you think it's coming for our jobs? And I'm like, quite honestly, I feel like, I don't know, unmoved by the topic right now. I know it's moving fast, but I feel unmoved from a scared perspective. I don't feel nervous, right? Like, I understand what these projects are like to have to go through human to human. They're very emotional branding projects, right? You have to be able to read the room and the current dynamic. You have to be able to interact in a way that is very human and shape shifts to the degrees and the temperatures of the room and all these things, right? Like, these things take time. People can't just go prompt their way to a solution. But yes, from a technical perspective, things that need to be built in the background that are not rooted in emotion speeds those things up massively. It also speeds up our work. But I guess what I'm saying is it's not going to take it. And I think you've said that more eloquently. It's, that's still ours to own. 100%. And that becomes more valuable, right? In an ideal world, we might look back and go like, wow, that actually helped us in just about every way and only inflicted a little bit of pain into our business models or something like that.
Yeah. So like the first use case that really comes to mind is like content and blogs. Like AI, sure, it can spit out a blog, but with everyone having the ability to spit out AI blogs, like the cadence, the tone, like it's all going to be just noise.
Yeah.
And where you can have signal is when you have a really great copywriter who is thinking multiple steps ahead of how to connect the dots within a piece. And so I think if we can view AI as an enhancer to our day-to-day and use it to get those first drafts, so the second and third come significantly faster. Like, that's the golden ticket.
Yeah, I agree. Like, right now, literally, you could create GPTs to create all the content you want. Basically spit it out. But like, who's doing that? It's almost like we never even got to the point that people are going to do it and create all that noise, because I think everybody can already see the writing on the wall. They all still feel like, well, that doesn't exactly sound like me. So like, I'm definitely going to have to do a lot of work here. I don't use it to create much content at all, but I could. And maybe it would do mostly good, but like,
but you
just
would tell.
Just because it can doesn't mean we will, maybe, is kind of the vibe maybe that I'm picking up on here. Like, a lot of companies could start using it for that. But they don't, because they already see what we just talked about. It's going to be generic. It's going to be lifeless. So at that point, what are you creating then? So then you walk all the way back from that. It'll be interesting to see in what other areas people come to the same conclusion. Oh, it can do that, but I'm not going to use it to do that, because if I do that, then what we will actually use it for. I use it for sometimes, like if I write a big piece and I feel like I can't come up with like a witty, what would be more of like a creative copywriter opening. Single sentence. Create me a wittier start to this thing, because I've got stuck into just the weeds of the tactical. So it's like those things that I use it for, like a thought partner. And it does become valuable. It'll get you unstuck, but it won't take you all the way home.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. It should be a thought partner. You should ask, hey, why is this a bad idea? If you're getting ready to make a big decision. But like, back to the content piece, like, you have a great LinkedIn presence, and of all of the things that I see in my LinkedIn feed, they're all the same. Like, if you look at the cadence of them, I know there was like a big mess about the M dash. I had some fun with that and actually tapped into my middle school language arts teacher. Shout out Miss Golian. And she was like, yeah, absolutely, people should be using the M dash. And no, it doesn't mean that your copy was written by GPT. But like, I feel like the humans creating content and putting time and brain muscle power into it will stand out, will prevail in this weird everything AI touches world.
Two thoughts on that. There's going to be, in my opinion, more value on the imperfection, because the imperfection is going to signal human, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to have these little tags at the bottom like human wrote this. There's going to be like, oh, Bill misspells that word all the time. He must have wrote that, or
Yeah.
he missed a comma here, or, poor usage of that word. These things make it real. And in a world where maybe things start to feel less and less real, that might become more identifiable and kind of attractive. So we do these hot sauces, custom hot sauce for our clients, and we send it at the end of every project.
I love it.
And we have sauce. We have these patches that looks like a ketchup splatter, and it says sauce. And on the back, it talks about seeking to achieve an unforgettable customer experience, the acronym, if people didn't put that together, of sauce. And I was going to post a really nice image of it, and I was going to talk about why we care about that and use the patch as the image in the post. And it's a really well done photograph that Liz on our team took. And I put it in the post, and it looked so good and so clean because it was a professional photograph that had been edited and retouched that it looked fake. Back in the day, that would have been like, that's a badass photo, because it would have looked better than 99% of the images. Now the feeds are all filled with things that are like seemingly high quality, maybe, but they look perfect. So I actually, interestingly enough, I just went and got the patch that I had at my house, took a quick like iPhone photo of it, intentionally imperfect, has my hand in it. And it's like, oh, that's like a real photo of him holding the real patch, which then inspired another post of like, that is so damn interesting to me. The psychological break for my brain of like, I used to have such a hunger for these like awesome photo shoots we would do on any product we had where we made a tangible version of the logo we created or this system. And now I'm like, oh, I actually want to take a crappy photo on purpose so people know it's real. That's kind of a weird setup. And I've gone through now that whole mental journey.
You shouldn't be punished for being a good photographer, Liz. Like, I feel like
she's like, great, I spent a lot of time making that photo. I'm like, I know, but
I think it's going to be weird. Do you think there are going to be creatives that get called out by clients of, this is too polished?
Is this real?
Did you actually make this?
It seems to me like somebody somewhere would say that. If I'm literally thinking that, knowing what I know, then I don't know how a client who's, let's call it like the other side of the fence, receiving things might think like, was this made in that way? We have clients, and I don't remember if we said this in the past episode, but we actually have an active client right now. When they came into the project, they had a demand that AI would not be used on their project at all. It was more about the trademark legal issues because it's a very large company.
Yeah.
But like that language is now in the lexicon of like, hey, I don't know how you may or may not be using it, but we want to make it clear in our contract you are not allowed to. Other clients maybe are earlier on that learning curve and they don't think to ask that, or maybe they don't care. Speed is their friend. Maybe they would prefer it to be used. But customers, they're entering that headspace now.
Yeah.
How do we feel about AI being used
to
determine outcomes on our project?
It's more than a blog too. I feel like you're going to have, just like during COVID, and everyone had like a COVID-19 center on their site.
Yeah.
There's going to be, what do you think about AI? How do you use it? Where
there's
is
going to be
it
a
in the app?
stance, like the moral stance on AI.
And it needs to be public, because if it's not, then it looks like you're hiding something.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
it's interesting. It's an interesting thing to have to like take a public stance on.
Future's weird, Bill.
Yeah. Future's weird.
This is, no, I didn't think the conversation was going this direction, but like, I really am. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I know creatives will always have a job. Talented people like Liz, like Shannon, will always have value at a business. It's just going to be interesting to see, like, will some of our coworkers become AI agents?
Yeah.
Do we want that
way?
Yeah.
Yes. That's also a great question to ask. Yes.
I think it depends on how you run your organization and what the leadership team thinks.
So we did some of this in the last talk, but let's go there again because I think it's worthwhile. Thinking about the future and kind of pulling off the thread that we pulled on earlier, which is like how brand shows up in product, and the future, the elder generations, the new generations, they all have an expectation. of how these things will show up. So what are some examples? What are some more examples you think of how that might continue to show up in new and different ways within a product?
Yeah, I think like brand used to live on billboards and then it translated over to like websites. But like now, like I really feel like brand is in the tooltips, the transitions, and those micro moments that like barely last a second, but they get remembered forever and end up getting talked about on a podcast with Lee and Bill.
Yes.
But when I think of like the new next frontier of brand expression and products, I really view both micro interactions and personalization as being big ones. I think animation could also be looped in there, but I also think it's in the places people don't really expect brand. I know in the second episode we talked a lot about like 404 pages.
Yes.
I think error states or even success messages, those toasts that come in, can be a really great canvas to express your brand in a product.
Yep.
And then when I think through examples, Loom and some of their celebratory moments after you share a video, like that makes an impact. That's special. And on the consumer end, whoever is watching that Loom video, they have the ability to emote. And that is an extension and an expression of Loom's brand. Talked about Headspace. I love Headspace. Not promoted whatsoever. But if you look from a brand perspective, like at their tone across their micro UX copy, how they talk on their website, and even just the behavioral design in app, like that's how brand expresses itself in a product.
That's
like,
it.
I think, the best brands of the future, they're not going to shout. They're going to whisper and be consistent, and they're going to be clever. And that could be, like in Headspace's case, thoughtful use of illustration and really solid user experience. Could mean something completely different. But I feel like the group listening to this, who gives a damn, needs to know where it counts to have those brand moments.
Yeah, the word clever resonates with me a lot, because clever would imply it's well thought out, it's intentional.
Yes.
It should be on brand, and it's maybe like small when I think of clever. Not everything's clever, but there are moments of clever. I think about it probably because I just got it today. My email, the automated email that comes from Gusto, which is payroll for us at Focus Lab. That automated email comes through and it's basically like, you got paid today. And that could just be a very generic, simple email template. But at the top of the email, there's an illustration that's animated. It used to be like the orange peeling one, I think was one of them. But now more often it's the cat walking between the owner's legs and like being affectionate in the illustration. And it's just kind of like, it has a vibe, and it's so them. And I think it's in the clever bucket. It's not trying too hard. They just know there's a moment to make this not just about dollars, that they want to bring the brand and create an experience that's just a little bit more enjoyable, just a little bit. It doesn't take that much work to have that moment illustrated and then animated and put it at the top. And here I am in a podcast talking about it, right? Like we could be using any payroll service, and I suspect that 90% or more, it's going to be a generic template with numbers pre-filled into it to say you made X this week. They really go the extra mile. Gusto does that. That startup is damn big now. And I would say, like, why when other tools, why when other tools can do the same thing, why do they continue to grow and get market share? Because if we have the choice for 5 different payroll services, that one seems to align more with who we are at Focus Lab.
I agree with you completely, and I love seeing those animations each week, and they change for those who don't get Gusto emails. But like, I really do think brand is going to live in those smallest moments, whether it's what used to be a transactional email, it is now a brand touch point. And it doesn't matter how big or small the touch point is. Like the more specific you can get, the more delight you can inject into it, that will only speak well to your brand.
Yeah, you keep on using that word, and I think it is the exact right word. It's moments of delight. Like anybody listening to all 3 episodes, if they just took this one section, it's like, just look for more opportunities of moments of delight. They can be big, they can be small, but if that becomes like hey, we haven't talked about this moments of delight in a couple months.
Yep.
Let's maybe we got to find a couple more of those. And to the people that are listening and watching that say like, that's just not our vibe. That wouldn't be on brand for us to have a cat affectionately walking between the owner's legs. Okay, figure out what is on brand for you. And what Lee and I have been preaching almost the entire episode is like, the whole world expects it now.
Yes.
So like, you're going to want to be there. You're going to want to figure out what your version of that delight is. You don't have to be a warm, fuzzy, heart in our sleeve software company to create moments of delight. You can still create them because at the end of the day, your customers are human.
Yeah.
If you're a serious, we build spy cyberware technology, that's some serious shit. Yeah, we get it. There's still a person behind that as the customer that has hobbies in their life that are not so serious. They still like to laugh at some shit, right? Like you can create moments of delight in a serious brand as well. And I
100%.
think, I think maybe that's where people maybe get caught up in that just feels right for that company. I don't know where we would do it. Yeah, that's a weak question and honestly feels like a cop-out. All right, Lee, final question. 3 episodes in. We've covered a lot of topics, so I'm going to force you to pick one thing. If you are sitting down and advising a founder today in and around subjects we've talked about, which is like the importance of brand and product as one unit, what's one mindset shift you would recommend that they adopt?
There's so many. I think being proactive and build a brand as part of the infrastructure and not just a bolt-on or icing on the cake. I think that's number one. And I think I talked a lot about that in the first episode. I think too, just like marketing is everyone's job at a business, brand is too. And the more brand leads, the more stakeholders we can have that get rolled into product sprints. And it doesn't matter if it's a SaaS product. I know this audience is primarily B2B SaaS, but like it could be a physical product as well. But having multiple stakeholders, those people are also users and they will have a perspective. And so if you're a co-founder, like be thinking about these things. And I think if you create brand systems that kind of evolve with your product as it grows, and like just not just treat it like a logo that goes on the corner, you're going to be set. Like one quick example that comes to mind for a co-founder to just copy is Stripe. Like if you look at their product, you look at their brands, you look at their support documentation, it's all the same voice, it's all the same ethos. And I feel like if you can do that, replicate that, or even part of that, you're going to be ahead of the majority of brands.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get ahead of the competition in that way. You're right. Right. So that like sees that as like golden opportunity, as wide open landscape. You could just go and have it. Fun fact about Stripe. I saw one of the co-founders speak like 10 years ago when they were very small. I think it was about 10 years ago at a design conference. Shout out to Drew ValioCon was the conference. And now that I think about that, like he was very technical. What they were building was extremely technical. And he was speaking at a design conference, right? So they were thinking about design, product, experience within their product from day one. Talk about a successful company. Holy shit.
No joke, man.
Yeah. So So there you go. Thank you, Lee. Before we jump out,
Yeah.
you want to tell people where they can find you and follow you and all your wonderful perspectives?
Yeah, of course. If you want to see my 5-month-old son, you can follow me at Lee Eisenbarth. My name hopefully will be in the description.
It will.
Tesla the Good Girl, that's my puppy. She also has an Instagram. But no, I run the design practice at MaxQ. And so you can find me at gomaxq.com. And just a refresher, if you didn't watch episode 1, we're an AI native acceleration partner built for the highest pressure moments for SaaS. So think of big product launches, funding rounds, acquisitions, you name it. But yeah, that's where to find me.
That's it. Go follow Lee. Thanks for joining the show. And yeah, I'll see you out there.
Yeah. See you, Bill. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's